Hey, how you doing? Daniel Ruiz, Ties and Sunday evening. This is the writer's life. I've got through two bests today, seven coffees. Not sure whether I would imagine the sweating's related more to the heat rather than the coffee. Maybe the coffee hasn't helped. Don't do well in this heat. Just try to open the bedroom window, but the downstairs neighbour is in her garden. I think she's in her maybe late 60s, early 70s. She's in a bikini. She's got someone with her. She's wearing a big hat, which she should be in this weather. Um, didn't feel I could open the window without acknowledging their presence in the garden. Maybe they then feel under pressure to acknowledge my presence, a couple of floors up, trying to open the window. And also, the fact that there's blinds in the flat. I'm not very good with blinds. I find them, I do find them tricky. And the window also is a sash window. It's a very noisy window, so you got the window opening audio. People will automatically look up. So I've had to keep the window closed. I'll have to stick the fan on tonight. I grew up I grew up with net curtains, my entire life. I think it's a working class thing. When, Clapham and Stockwell, well, mainly Clapham, started to get yuppified in the early 80s, and old neighbours began to move away, and, young couples started to move in, and suddenly you could see into their flats. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand what had happened to the net curtains. And I remember opposite us we had some young couples live, and you could see them eating every evening. I just found that really, really strange. And I don't think I've ever gotten used to not having net curtains for the last 20 years. Since I left home, I'm always very self-conscious in any of the many flats I've lived in since leaving home, just because none of them have had. I think the first one had net curtains. I think my aunt sorted out some net curtains for me. I definitely wasn't ready for blinds. I've moved into places. I remember 8, 9 years ago, I had to call a friend round on my second day living there because I didn't know how to work the blinds in that particular flat. I just struggle with people being able to see into your flat. It just feels like you're on a television show, some reality show. I'm very uncomfortable with it. I've started pulling the blind down in the kitchen because I'm wearing marigolds to protect my hands when I'm washing up. And, because I wash my hands so many times a day as well, I just feel they need the extra protection. I don't want neighbours to see me wearing marigolds, so I'm pulling the blinds down. The when the weather when it does get warm, the neighbour does tend to be in her garden. I really should have taken the opportunity this morning to open the window and air the bedroom, because I figured that at some point she'd be out in the garden. She does have a very big garden. I don't know the layout of the block entirely, but I wonder if she'd just been able to sit in another part of the garden where she wouldn't have been visible to my bedroom window. That might have made it easier for me to open my window. Maybe if I was her, that's how I would have been thinking. You know what? Let me put this table here and sit in this part of the garden with my friend, because that guy up there on the second floor might want to open his window at some point. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow morning. I mean, it's bank holiday, so I think I need to work tomorrow because I'm all about the routine. I do struggle, when my routine is broken. I need to be busy, and I've not really done much this weekend. I had yesterday planned out. I was going to watch the Liverpool game live. I was going to watch the Anthony Yard title fight live. The family emergency came up, so I couldn't do that. I had to set those programs to record. I got back about 8:30, and I tried to watch everything as live. The boxing I made the commitment to, so I watched that first. I was about half an hour behind the live program by the time I got in, so I watched that live. It was too late by the time I started watching the Liverpool Arsenal game. I find it very hard to watch a 90-minute game that I've taped, so I was just forwarding through it and just accepting that I wasn't gonna watch the game. It's just I'm not a sport Billy. I don't know what you're thinking. I'm a sport Billy. I'm not someone who needs to watch all the sport, but it was my team playing. Would have been nice to see it. And in the end, yeah, I just couldn't be just couldn't be arsed seeing it all the way through. Dreading tomorrow, not just because it's a bank holiday, which just feels like another Sunday, but because in this seat, I'm committed to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning jogging. I'm going to go there early tomorrow into the park. And I'm just starting to get, I feel quite slow this summer, not really with it. So I'm not really anxious, but I feel like I should be anxious given the number of dog related incidents I'm having, given the number of times I'm being chased by dogs. At the moment they seem to be small dogs, but what if it's a bigger dog at some point? How am I going to deal with that? Am I going to feel safer if I start wearing tracksuit bottoms? Because at the moment it's just that, my long legs are exposed. And that little dog on Friday, the puppy, the way it was circling me, it just until that owner finally got up off the grass and came over with a cigarette in her mouth and a mobile in her hand. I just stood still, not knowing what this little dog was going to do. And of course, you don't know in that situation what you can do if this animal attacks you. So that's kind of playing on my mind a little. Yeah, funny weekend, family emergency. Aunt then had to go with her to the roughest shop in Stockwell to top up her phone. I mean, that woman is fearless. She just doesn't care. She was very slow to take up the walking stick, very reluctant because of her pride. But it's really funny now. The walking stick has just become an extension of her personality. We leave her flat to go for a coffee. She'll use the walking stick to point out any smudge on the wall or dust. For my uncle, who's got his cleaning duties to deal with. I mean, he can't relax. He's always got his cleaning duties. If the workmen in the building, because I think there's some recladding going on in the aftermath of Grenfell. There's a lot of work been going on in the block. The workmen sometimes hog the lift. And we're waiting for the lift. She'll hear them laughing and joking. She'll get the walking stick. She just bangs the lift, and I'm thinking, oh Christ, if these guys are in the lift, we're going to have to face them now. She's just she doesn't really care. And she took me to the roughest shop in Stockwell to top up her phone, and it's not the first time she's done it. It's a shop where I bought my first Smurf as a kid. And just in the last 20 years, it's just a gang hangout. It's the worst place in Stockwell. Adjacent businesses have never lasted long. This is the thing about, I'm assuming this is not specific to South London, but knowing, Stockwell, knowing Clapham, knowing Vauxhall, knowing South Lambeth, I sometimes see businesses turning up, opening. And I always say to myself, that place will be gone within a year. They just don't seem to do their due diligence. They don't seem to know the area, because I've seen so many businesses opening up in the area and they don't really know the estates they might be opening next to. They don't know the business they might be opening next to. They don't seem to understand the local demographic too well. There was a guy about 3-4 years ago opened up on South Lambeth Road, I think selling second-hand furniture. South Lambeth Road wasn't ready for that. And I said on my old podcast, that place wouldn't last a year. I don't think it made 6 months. Might an idea like that work now in South Lambeth? Well, it's certainly getting a bit poncier, unfortunately. There's an art gallery as well where a really good little shop used to be, and so it might work now. I'm still not convinced it would. But yeah, it's just it's a little frustrating. I'm just hearing an alarm. I don't know where it's coming from. So, yeah, the weekend, bit of a non-event. I'm going to leave you shortly. I'm going to get back into a vest, read a bit, listen to The Unexplained later on with Howard Hughes, probably my favourite radio show. Going to have something to eat now. Going to try not to think about the run tomorrow morning. Going to try not to think about being chased by dogs. Subscribe. If you're enjoying this channel, it all helps. I've got myself a YouTube Channels for Dummies guide from the library. I also got some latex gloves from the hospital yesterday because I don't like to handle library books with my hands. And this YouTube book definitely is very sharp soiled. So I've got some quality latex gloves, not the Poundland latex gloves. So I'll be reading through that book. I'll be trying to work out how I can increase the subscription on this channel. A selfie stick to make things easier and to limit any tremors. There has been no tremor tonight, I'm pleased to say. Hopefully the book will help me. So yeah, click the subscribe button. Let's get these numbers up, and I hope you enjoy your evening. Take care.